Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I've I haven't done any content in a while, but I've been preparing some for Riftbound. As I have talked about in my last update to the channel, I've been playing a lot of Riftbound, and I've been preparing now for the release of set 2, which is Spiritforged. Um, and I think I'm taking this opportunity to bring you all a deck list for each champion legend in the set. And I want to start with the one I'm most hyped about, which is Ornn. I think this legend, um, when they spoiled the legend, it didn't call out to me as being all that strong. I waited through almost all the spoiler for a hint that the deck is good, and I was so disappointed. But right almost at the end, they revealed the signature spells for Ornn. And let me tell you, those cards are absolutely insane. This deck, from what I've been playtesting here at my home, um, the deck is absolutely amazing. Um, it's looking to crush basically every single deck that set 1 brought us. Maybe with the exception of Annie, which just crushed the Houston regional. If you're watching this, probably just ended. And yeah, Annie smashed that top 8. Basically, 4 Annies in the top 8. And the winner was also an Annie deck. The top 4 was 3 Annie decks. It was absolutely Annie domination. And the bounce spells might be what does this deck in, but let me tell you, this deck feels great to play. So let's start by reading out what Ornn actually does. So Ornn Legend is named Fire Below the Mountain, and it has an ability which is tap, at reaction speed, add a power of any color, use to play gear or use gear abilities. Abilities that add resources can't be reacted to. So what this basically does is being like a Kaisa but for gears. So this deck is very heavy towards gear with how shall I put this? Unlike Azir, I haven't talked about Azir yet, but Azir basically is an equipment deck that creates tokens every time you play an equipment. Azir can run basically all gears and not care about having creatures. Of course, some creatures will help because you need some sizable things where to put your equipments late game, but mostly the deck doesn't care about playing creatures. Ornn, on the other hand, you kinda need creatures, otherwise the deck won't work. But you'll see my initial list for Ornn. Basically, the deck is all card draw that you have a lot in mind and calm. And what you try to do is to run through your deck and find the creatures so you can put the equipments on them. But let's dive deep into it. Let's start with the battlefields because, well, Piltover Archives also starts with the battlefields, and we have zone warrants. This allows you to dig for your creatures and equipment, and that's basically what it's doing here. Then we are playing Sunken Temple, which also helps you dig. It talks about mighty units here. Your units aren't all that big, but once you equip your equipments to them, most of them will be mighty. All Ornn signature spells give +2 or +3 might. This 5 might threshold is pretty easy to obtain, and you're trying to get a couple of draws of this battlefield. And then you have Ornn's Forge, which basically reduces the cost of your equipment once you're in control of this battlefield. They are nothing special here, there's no big tricks, they're just all three very good battlefields for you. They might be okay for your opponents, but well, that's not gonna be a big issue. Let's go into the deck list. So, first thing I want to point out is we are running a seal of each, just because seals in Ornn's deck are free. What I mean by this is you can just tap your legend and play the seal, and it won't cost you anything else. So you're basically getting a free power for the rest of the game that can also pay for your creatures, that can also pay for your spells. And basically you used Ornn's legend ability that only pays for gears to pay for the rest of the things for the rest of the game. They do make a lot of sense here. They are unfortunately late game dead draws, but you're gonna try to filter through your deck, and if you need, you have Zone Warrants to discard them, draw other things. You have Ornn Blacksmith that I'll read in a minute, that basically allows you to search for the gears that you want, and you can ship the other ones to the bottom. So we are running 2 Ornn Blacksmith that says, when you play me or when I hold, look at the top 4 cards of your main deck, reveal a gear from among them and draw it, recycle the rest. So this allows you to basically dig for your best equipment. So we are not running a lot of them. We are just running the best there is. And Ornn helps you find the one you need for each situation. We are running 2 of these. This is the one who's going into the deck. You want to draw this, play this, find other stuff to do. This is the guy that is going into your champion zone. And this is Ornn Forge God. It's a 6 cost 4 might unit, champion unit, with Deflect 2 and Weapon Master, so you can equip for free when you play it. And then it says, I have 1 might for each friendly gear. This guy he gets so huge. If you have 1 equipment on him, he becomes like a 7 power unit. If you have 2, he usually goes to around 11 might. He becomes so huge. And then he has the Deflect 2, which makes him hard to interact even for any, because like Rebuke is 2 power and Deflect 2 is another 2 power. Basically, you're trying to get ahead of your opponents in resources by you having all the resources and they having none, and this Ornn will help you accomplish that. It's also a very huge unit. It can crush almost any battlefield on its own. This guy is pretty amazing, and that's why it's on the chosen champion zone. Next, we are running 1 not so fast to protect your gear and creatures. It's pretty good. There's more on the sideboard. This card just covers almost all your deck in terms of protection. Then we are running 2 Guardian Angel, and 2 drops we have 2 Stalwart Poro, 3 Watchful Sentry, 3 Clockwork Keeper. Why this configuration and not other? Because we want to draw the most cards we can. So we are running 3 Sentry, 3 Clockwork Keeper, and then we needed 2 more units to round out our 2 drops, and we chose Stalwart Poro. I'm running 1 single Smokescreen. It's not amazing in this deck, but it's like something you'll need it. There's no way around it. It will come in handy, and so we are running 1. Oh, maybe I should read out loud what Guardian Angel does. Sorry, guys. So it's 2 energy for 1 might equipment with a equip cost of 1. And it says, if I would die, kill Guardian Angel instead. Heal me, exhaust me, and recall me. So this basically saves the creature that your opponent killed. Unlike Zhonya's, you can choose which creature you want to save, and it's not the next one would die, it's the one you equip this to. So if you put this on your Ornn, he becomes like 6 might, which is not all that huge, but you save it from dying. That's if you only have this gear, because it gets +1 might for each gear you have. So let's keep on going. We have 2 Heimerdinger. This card did almost not see any play on set 1, but it says I have all tap abilities of all friendly legends, units, and gears. So what Heimerdinger does in this deck, besides being a unit, is copying abilities from your legend, but most importantly from a very strong gear that is in this set. We'll find him very, very soon. Then we have +3 Lecturing Yordles. This is once again to draw more cards, because we want to find other units to play and more gear. Flowing through the deck is how you not die from not having creatures. So this is what we are doing in order to not flood in gear, basically. Next we are running 3 Art of Dark Ice. This is a 3 energy gear and 1 green power that Ornn can pay for. And basically says tap, give +3 might to a unit this turn. Mind you, this is the ability you want to copy with Heimerdinger. So this gear is extremely powerful. It can transform your small creatures into a menace. So your watchful sentries are basically 4 might if you have that on the battlefield. Your Heimerdinger basically goes and copies these, so these become 7 might. If your 2-drop is 7 might, you should be scared of the rest of the deck. So let's move on and get into the most dumb things this deck can do. So we are running 3 Ezreal, the blue one, the Mind Ezreal per se, and it's 4 energy, 1 blue power for a 3 might unit, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it says when I attack or defend, deal damage equal to my might to an enemy unit here. This is the ability you want to abuse in this deck. Then he says, I don't deal combat damage. Well, Ezreal, you don't need to. You've done enough. Then he has another ability which costs 1 blue power and says, action speed, move me to your base. So basically, if the combat isn't favorable, you can just run away with Ezreal. But he always gets to snipe something out of the combat. So if your opponent attacks you with 2-3 might units, you'll kill one and then you can run away with your ability. The blue one. Because the chain will empty after you kill the unit and then you can use the action ability. But this ability by itself isn't broken. What's broken is when you put incredibly powerful gears onto this Ezreal. So let's get into that. Here are the 3 signature spells of Ornn. This is a new thing. No other champion has 3 signature spells. And they all have the unique keyword, so you can only run 1 of each in your deck. But what happens here is, let's go into Rabadon's Death Crown. So Rabadon's Death Crown is a 4 energy and 2 power equipment that gives +3 might to the equipped unit, and then says your spells and abilities deal 3 bonus damage. While this is attached, obviously. So if this is attached to no one, you don't get this bonus. But Imagine you attach this to Ezreal. Ezreal becomes now a 6 might unit, so his ability will deal 6 damage, but because it is an ability, your spells and abilities deal 3 bonus damage. So now Ezreal's ability deals 9 damage. Ezreal becomes able to snipe any creature in the game up till this point, besides maybe Pump the Vaya or Pump the Mundo. This gear is absolutely insane. Ezreal with this is just broken and very hard to deal with, because then even if you cannot kill your opponent, you can just run away with your Ezreal and save it to another battle. But let's go into another one. So then we have Forge Fire Cape, which is again a 4 energy, 2 power, either green or blue, for an unique equipment that gives 3 might to the equipped unit, and then says, when I attack or defend, deal 2 to all enemy units here. So if you put this on your Ezreal, it then deals 6 damage to 1 unit and 2 to all units. So it's basically 8 to 1 unit and 2 to all other units that are attacking your battlefield, or that you are attacking. It doesn't really matter. This basically hoses Victor. But let's go to the stupidest thing of all, which is you equip both Forge Fire Cape and Rabadon's Death Crown onto the same unique Ezreal unit. Now, basically, if you have those two on Ezreal, he becomes a 9 might unit that deals damage equal to his power, which is basically 9. And because Death Crown is here, you deal +3, so it's 12 damage to a unit. And then you have the trigger from Forge Fire Cape, which is also an ability. So it is also boosted by 3 of your Rabadon Death Crown, so it's 5 to all units. This thing is just a menace. I don't know how you can even stop this from dominating a battlefield. No matter how many units or which units are there, if you put these two equipment into play and equip them to Ezreal, the game is basically over. There's no going around it. Plus, you can move him to your base. So imagine you just held a battlefield with Ezreal. You can action speed move it to your base. It goes untapped because you use the ability, and then you can move it to the other battlefield. So it can just be on 2 battlefields all the time in your turn. Man, if this ain't broken, I don't know what is. But then let me talk about the rest of the list. There's also Shurel's Requiem. I also like this one a lot. It's not as broken as the other two, especially together, but it still allows you to do a couple of very, very dumb things. So let's talk about it. It costs exactly the same as the other two. It's 4 energy, 2 power, either green or blue, doesn't matter. 1 cost to equip. It's also the same. But it says when you play these, ready your units. So imagine... no, let's talk about the rest. And I'll talk about the scenarios after. It gives +2 might to a unit. And it says your units here have ganking. All units on that spot have ganking. So imagine this scenario. You attack a battlefield. You tap your units to move them there. Then you play Shurelius. They all become ready. You equip Shurelius to one of your units. Everyone that attacked that battlefield is now ready to just gank to the other one. This is very powerful. It's probably not as powerful as the other two together, or even separate, but it's still very good and allows you to do very dumb things. I think the card is gonna see play and fit the list still. It's probably the best These are the 3 best equipment in the set, I'm pretty sure. But let's round out the list. So now you have 3 drop border. This is just a solid card. From what I've been testing, it's a 4 play, 4 cost unit that doesn't require you power. It is a 4 might unit, which is pretty solid for the cost, and it basically almost always enter ready. It's very difficult for this to not enter ready with the amount of gear you play in this deck. And it says, when you play me, if you control 2 or more gear, ready me. Yeah, this is just a unit that comes in ready. You equip something to it, paying it with Ornn. You spend 0 power to do this, and you smash into a battlefield with it. Like any of these 3 gears, if you have Art of Dark Eyes, you just tap it, and this is a 7 might unit with basically accelerate that you didn't pay, and you slam it into a battlefield. It's just what it does. Yeah, I think this is gonna see play in Ornn. I don't see a reason why not. It's probably the best gear deck in the set. So, moving on, I rounded out the list with 2000 Tail Watchers and 2 Tasty Feyfolk that basically they are already known offenders of the first set. These cards are pretty good. Why I chose these over maybe White Flame Protector? The reason is they have Accelerate, and I chose accelerated creatures as a premium for just you slam them, you equip something to them for free, and you slam them into a battlefield, and you try to basically crush your opponent the turn they enter. That's all this deck is trying to do. You're just playing to conquer with a very big unit, and then your opponent will have a problem that he has to deal with. For example, Thousand Tail Watcher with Sunfire Cape will kill almost any board. If you have a Sunfire Cape, you keep it for 1, and then when you attack with a Thousand Tail Watcher, you will deal 2 to everything that already has -3. So basically all 5 might units die, and you just have a 9 or 10 might. How much is Fortify? It's 3 might, so you have a 10 might unit crashing into a battlefield where all 5 might or less units have died. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot your opponent can do about this. And then to round out the list, I chose to include 2 Jacks unmatched. I previously had Irelia, but I think for what the deck is trying to do, which is getting ahead in resources, Jacks having Deflect is a lot better. And then giving quick draw to your equipment might catch your opponents off guard. It's not something that comes up all that often because, as I said, your units almost all have Accelerate, and almost all the time you're gonna try to smash into your opponent in your turn, try to draw cards from your battlefields. And that's pretty much what the deck does. You keep digging for cards, and you put your gear onto your creatures that are a menace, and you slam into your opponent. However, where I think Jax comes in handy is when you're very late into the game. You crash into a battlefield, you draw a card, and then you can try to hold that battlefield, especially if the card you drew was an equipment, by playing it on your opponent's turn to catch him off guard. That's the most reasonable scenario in which this ability is good. I might be convinced to cut a Jax for another Ornn, because I think that finding gear is better than giving gear quick draw. However, I still like the deflect on this unit, and that's why it's in here. But as I've said, This is the list I'm testing right now. It's doing absolutely great on paper, because I've printed basically the cards and I've been testing the deck physically. Because the set ain't out yet, but I like to test things ahead of time. And it's been performing okay. As I said, I'm still unsure about if I should cut one of these for a third Ornn, because Ornn finds the gear you want, and that's basically better than giving something quick draw. But I need more playtesting. And this is the list, guys. I will leave you the link. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the sideboard. So I included on this very basic sideboard because I haven't tested enough to say this is definitive, but I included 2 retreat just to get you more ahead on resources and save your units. There are also units that are worth replaying, like Watcher, like Ornn, because you get the enter the battlefield triggers, like your Yordle. It will just get you so much ahead if you get the rune and then play your cards again. They draw you more cards or find you more gears to play. Yeah, this card is pretty good, and it's especially good against removal. So this will come in basically against Kaisa. It will come in against yellow removal based decks. And then we have Not So Fast that is basically always coming in because you'll need to protect your gear. There's a lot of gear hate in this set also. There's 3 Disarming Rake, which is basically gear hate that you'll play on the mirror because you want to destroy other people's gear and protect your own. That's what this deck is trying to do post sideboard. And then I included 1 Rune Prison just to have a out against creatures that are bigger than yours. It's not often that you want Rune Prison, but for example against any that has Vi Ride the Wind, against Draven will probably run via Ride the Wind. It's a 1-2 punch combo. All purple red decks should play that. Or basically against Mundo shenanigans. So if your opponent is on a Mundo deck, you'll also probably want to include a Rune Prison here. And that's basically it, guys. Thank you for listening to my Ornn Decklist spotlight, let's call it that. I'll be posting one of each legend on the coming days, to build hype on this set, to show you my brainstorming for this set, and I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll link the decks in the description of the video to Piltover archives. This is not sponsored by any means, but they have the best platform so far to save your collection, to create deck lists. They basically, whenever the cards were spoiled, they added them here, and you can already build decks with a set that hasn't even come out yet. It allows you to export the cards into proxies, which is also good for whoever likes to play test as I do. So guys, hope you have fun playing this game as much as I am having, because it's just a breath of fresh air. And yeah, that's it. See you on the next one. Bye.